On KREM 2 News at noon, the man accused of trying to shoot former President Trump at his Florida golf course is formally charged in court.
And after a chilly and brisk start to this week, our temperatures are going to be a little bit better this afternoon with more 70s still to come this week.
And we are getting a better look at some of the devastation after Hurricane Helene. We'll show you some of the hardest hit areas where officials say it could take years to recover. Hi there, everyone. It is so good to see you. Welcome to KREM 2 News at noon. I'm Brandon T. Jones in for Laura Papetti today. Lots of headlines, but first, let's go ahead and check in on the forecast because Thomas Patrick is in the building, meteorologist Thomas Patrick, and it was definitely a cooler start to the morning. I was out there this morning and it was flat out cold, but what do we have in store for us?
Comment, Brandon, that you had one of the heavier jackets on this morning, right?
Yeah.
It was more than warranting that heavier jacket or a sweatshirt because it got down into the 30s and 20s for some across the inland Northwest. But boy, does that sunshine feel great right now. Still a decently cool 57 degrees, but that in the shade, you step out into the sunshine and it feels a whole lot better outside. So it'll warm slowly but surely as we are crossing that upper 50s for the mark and about 60 degrees in Lewiston and Pomeroy already. But these are the temperatures you want to probably take note of from this morning. It was 32 in Moses Lake, 25 in Deer Park, and all the way down to 28 degrees, the first freeze of the season for the Pullman area as well. Didn't quite get there here in Spokane at 35, but definitely more than cold enough to see maybe a little bit of frost develop on the grass. But that won't be an issue for the rest of this week because we are entering early October and the outlook is on the up and up. I told you I wouldn't promise our last 80-degree day of the year just yet, but I can certainly promise more 70s in the forecast. So coming up, we'll show you how much warmer this first week of October will ultimately be, and if we have any more of those days in the 30s still yet in our forecast.
All righty, we appreciate that update. And despite the chilly morning, fire officials are reminding people that we are still in fire season. Over the weekend, a brush fire sparked in dry and windy conditions near the Spokane River in northwest Spokane. Fire crews managed to stop the forward progress on the fire quickly. The dry and windy conditions also led Avista to turn off the power for the Indian Trail area of Spokane County. The move is part of their public safety power shut-off system to try to prevent fires from sparking. The outage impacted nearly 1,500 people and has since been restored. Those gusty and dry conditions also caused issues for drivers in our region yesterday. Take a look at these photos sent to us showing the blowing dust near Ritzville. You barely see anything. The National Weather Service reported the visibility dropped down to near zero for drivers on parts of I-90. New at noon, evacuation levels have been lowered for a wildfire burning near the Canadian border. The Goosemas fire is burning near Danville, up near the Canadian border. In the last few hours, level 3 evacuations have been lowered to level 2 for houses along 4th of July Creek Road. That means people in the area should be prepared to go. Level 1 evacuations remain for the town of Danville. The fire has burned at least 1,700 acres and is 7% contained. New at noon, the man accused of attempting to assassinate former President Donald Trump at his Florida golf course earlier this month has entered a plea of not guilty. Christian Benavides reports from outside of the courthouse in West Palm Beach.
Ryan Wesley Ruth pleaded not guilty to 5 federal charges, including the attempted assassination of a presidential candidate. The arraignment lasted about 5 minutes. Ruth was walked into the courtroom. He was wearing a prison jumpsuit. He was handcuffed, sat next to his attorneys, and listened attentively during the hearing. This is his 3rd time in a courtroom since being arrested earlier this month. Prosecutors say he had been staking out Trump for hours when a Secret Service agent allegedly spotted Ruth's face and then a gun near the 6th hole. Investigators say once the agent saw the gun move, the agent opened fire and Ruth took off. Prosecutors say they also found writings that included Trump's travel schedule and when he would be in town. There's also a letter that he allegedly left with a friend where he wrote about his intentions. His attorneys requested a trial by jury. The case will be overseen by Judge Eileen Cannon, who was also overseeing the Trump classified documents case, which has been dismissed. Christian Benavides, CBS News, West Palm Beach, Florida.
Onto the campaign trail now. The presidential candidates are battling over the border and name calling. In the meantime, the vice presidential candidates are just a day away from their first and only debate. Willie James Inman has the latest.
Former President Donald Trump sparked controversy over the weekend, questioning Vice President Harris's mental capacity.
Kamala is mentally impaired.
Trump used the derogatory comment to say Harris is responsible for allowing what he described as criminal migrants into the country.
If you think about it, only a mentally disabled person could have allowed this to happen to our country.
The next day, he came up with his own solution for crime, taking a cue from the plotline of the movie The Purge.
You know, if you had one day, like one real rough, nasty day, one rough hour, and I mean real rough, the word will get out and it will end immediately.
Campaigning in Las Vegas, Harris touted her record prosecuting criminals and blamed Trump for prodding Republicans to kill a bipartisan bill that would have strengthened the border.
We need a president who cares more about solving problems than playing political games and demeaning people full time. We're tired of that.
Immigration and crime are sure to come up when Harris's running mate, Governor Tim Walz, and Trump's running mate, Senator J.D. Vance, square off in the first vice presidential debate Tuesday night.
We're going to turn Pennsylvania red.
Vance campaigned in Pennsylvania over the weekend and is traveling to New York today for last-minute debate prep.
Hey, nice to meet you.
While Walz took a break from his preparations to watch a college football game Saturday. Willie James Inman, CBS News, Washington.
And you can watch The Real Thing tomorrow night. Tim Walz faces Ohio Senator J.D. Vance in the first and only vice presidential debate. CBS News coverage begins at 5 p.m. You can watch it right here on KREM 2, followed by a special edition of KREM 2 News at 8. And go ahead and mark your calendars because we're hosting a 5th District congressional debate on Wednesday, October 30th, with the two candidates hoping to replace Representative Kathy McMorris Rogers. Candidates Carmela Conroy and Michael Baumgartner will be here in the KREM 2 studio. We'll be asking them questions important to the people here in Eastern Washington. The hour-long and commercial-free debate starts at 7 that evening on KREM 2, KSKN 22, KREM 2 Plus, and KREM.com. All right, we're now just 35 days away from Election Day, and as it gets closer, some deadlines are fast approaching. Idaho is 2 weeks away from its voter registration deadline. Voter registration needs to be postmarked by October 11th. You can also do it online up until midnight on the 11th.
And if you're doing it online or using your driver's license to register to vote, but you've moved since you currently got your driver's license, then you need to make sure you bring proof of residency if that's not updated with the driver's license.
If you're planning to register for an absentee ballot for this year's election in Idaho, that needs to be at the elections office by October 25th. In Washington, ballots are set to be mailed out October 18th. Accessible in-person voting opens on that date as well. The deadline to submit your voter registration online or by mail is on October 28th. You can register in person up until 8 p.m. on Election Day. Ballots are due by 8 p.m. on Tuesday, November 5th.